What's going on, guys? Welcome to today's training. Today, we're going to be going over the two hidden beliefs or fears that are sabotaging your weight loss goals. So, if you ever felt like you've lost and gained weight before, and it felt like where week 1 to 12, maybe week 12, if we got there, it felt great, right? We're riding off that high, we're super motivated, and we're crushing it. We're on top of things. Maybe we're even getting progress. But then something happens. We hit this roadblock, we hit this wall. Maybe it's a plateau. Maybe you're noticing you're losing motivation. And the next thing you know, things just kind of fall off track. Life happens, life events pop up, things fall off track, and then eventually we're back to square one, trying to find the next diet plan, the next pill to try, whatever it may be. If you're going through this, you're most definitely not alone. This is self-sabotage. This is a consistent pattern that's keeping you stuck in the same exact place that you don't want to be in. And that's what I'm going to show you here today. We're not going to talk about how to change the external because we know now by reviewing this that, hey, it doesn't matter if I follow a diet plan or the best workout plan or the YouTube videos. For some reason, I'm still stuck. It's almost like I might even know what to do, but I can't seem to kind of put it together to get to my goals. That's exactly what I specialize in with people between the ages of 30s to 50s, driven professionals, is I help them break those unconscious patterns, beliefs, fears, habits, everything that's holding them back from who they want to become. And I want you to think of self-sabotage like this, is that let's say you have a goal and you're trying to go to the right. Self-sabotage is the resistance that pops up that's not wanting to go right, it's wanting to go left. And where is that going? It's going back to safety and security, which we're going to talk about here very, very soon. But that's what self-sabotage is. So think of it like this. Number one is that it's actions that go against your goals. Okay. Number two is that it's an unconscious fear or belief. So we take these actions that are coming from, they're produced from an unconscious belief or fear that we actually have about ourselves. And these actions are showing up in our lives like a symptom. Okay. So let's say internally I have a cold, maybe my temperature or something's off, right? So these actions that we take that are not in alignment with where we want to go and our desires, that's resistance, that's self-sabotage. Now, that's happening though from an underlying fear or belief. And all in all, it's just keeping you safe at the end of the day. That's what your brain thinks. Okay. So think of it like this, right? You have a goal. Okay, I want to lose 20 pounds. Awesome. Then fear comes in as you're working on this goal. Now, after that happens, number three, and fear or limiting belief comes in because you have a goal, which means that you want to change, right? So automatically your brain's like, hey, this is contradicting against our current belief system, our current patterns, what we always thought, how to keep you safe and secure, the whole idea we have of ourselves. Now you're telling me you want to change, right? I don't know what's out there. That's the unknown. That's scary. So the brain is like, no, that's not good. So fear comes in. Okay. Then number three is self-sabotage and patterns. So maybe you skip your meals, maybe you skip workouts, right? You stop getting up early. Maybe you start binge eating at nighttime, or you are binge eating. Maybe you're putting it off, right? You're putting things off and you're making other things, you're replacing it for other things. Like, I could do the workout, but I got to get laundry done first, right? And even though you know that laundry will get done anyways later on, but you're still choosing to do that just to avoid the workout or getting that thing done that you know you need to get done to get to your goal, that is a pattern. That is a sign. That is a symptom of self-sabotage. Okay. And then also we quit. Now, then what happens is the guilt train comes, right? So we feel the shame and the guilt of I quit, I'm not good enough, I suck, I can never hit this goal. And it's like a never-ending cycle, right? Then we start over eventually and we try again because everybody wants to feel better. At the end of the day, everyone wants to feel better. Nobody wants to feel uncomfortable in their body. Nobody wants to have to worry about their health. Nobody wants to feel like they're not being the mom or dad or leader that they know they can be in their lives. So we're always going to kind of chase after this goal one way or another. And even if that's micro actions, like the little creams that we order, pills that we order, whatever it may be to help us get what we want, we're always going to keep working towards it. So I'm so excited for this training because this is literally how we function as human beings when it comes to keeping us safe and secure and change and how we can break these limiting patterns that are holding us back from what we want so bad. I cannot wait I cannot wait for you to free yourself from it because I'm telling you, I've seen it time and time. I've trained over 500 plus clients in the ages of 30s to 50s, some of them losing over 200 pounds. And these changes wouldn't have happened. By the way, 200 pounds lost and kept off for over 2 to 3 years now. These changes would not happen if we did not change the internal wiring. Okay, I'm a true believer in that your external world is a reflection of your internal. So you cannot make a lasting external change if you do not change if you do not make a lasting internal change. And it's proven in the books. 90% plus people fail to make any kind of change in their lives. And we live in an age now of information. AI can build you an entire plan just like that. But why is it not helping? It's because we're not changing the actual real rooted stuff. And that's what I'm going to show you here. So think of it like this. So the brain is designed to keep you safe and secure, right? Your brain's number one role is how do I keep this person alive? So what it does is that your brain, we have a subconscious, we have the sub-C, so the subconscious mind. Now this is where you live 95% of your life. Okay, I always use the example how you drive to work in the morning, you're in La La Land daydreaming, drinking coffee at the same time, and yet you don't hit the neighbor's dog or crash your car because driving is such a habit to you. That's just doing it unconscious now, right? You don't need to be there to drive because it's just such a pattern, such a habit. So you can kind of think of other things. Now, other things in your subconscious mind is you got your habits, you got your patterns, you got your beliefs, you got your fears, and you got your trauma. Okay, and these are all repeating in your day-to-day life. These are all coming above and shaping who you are as a person, how you act, how you feel, how you think, and it's getting you the results in your life over and over and over again. Okay, and typically this is from past experiences. Typically it's from programming. It's from society, culture. All these things are kind of programmed into us, usually at a very young age. And then eventually our brains are like, hey, this is how I navigate the world. This is what's going to keep me safe and secure. Okay. But the problem with that is that oftentimes we are brought up with limiting beliefs, fears, programs, or whatever it may be, or habits or actions that do not serve us, that don't help us become who we want to be, right? That kind of keep us stuck and struggling. And I just want you to think back to like maybe you're someone who has struggled with your body image for your entire life and you've always been pursuing this different body. Well, look back and reflect on maybe your parents, the people around you growing up. Did they hate on themselves a lot? Did they maybe say things to you? Whatever it may be. Okay. So oftentimes we have these programs, these limiting beliefs, these fears that programmed into us that do not serve us, but they're reproducing themselves in our day-to-day lives for our entire lives, keeping us stuck. And it takes away that empowerment feeling of who you actually are. You know, you're a creator. You're here to create. You're not here to stay stuck and just to survive. And I know for me, my body held me back so much from what I wanted because it destroyed my confidence. It destroyed my brain clarity, my energy. When I was struggling with my body, I felt terrible. I was a 180 of who I am today. So by unlocking these things, it's going to unlock a brand new life for you. So example number one that a lot of us deal with is I don't deserve this. Okay, so I don't deserve this is a very common underlying limiting belief or fear that could be projecting into our lives. So I don't deserve this is typically connected to our self-worth, right? So we believe that we are not worthy. We believe that we are not good enough. So examples how this is going to come into your life is number one, quit when progress starts, right? You start making progress and it's actually uncomfortable rather than comfortable. Or maybe you just kind of like stop. All right, I lost 20 pounds. I'm good now, right? Even though the goal was 60 pounds. So we quit when progress starts to come up into our lives. Number two is comfort eating. Okay, so maybe we're comfort eating at nighttime to fill that void of low self-worth, of I'm not good enough. Right? So the food, naturally carbs, make us feel better. Next one is what's the point mindset, right? So thoughts come in of like, what's the point if I work out? I always fail anyways. I'm not good enough. I'm never going to get there. What's the point of me doing all this crap and spending this money on myself? Like, I'm not worthy. I don't deserve this, right? I might as well spend this money on my kids. Moms, it's a very, very, very common one, right? You often feel so guilty, but let's reframe that. You want the best for your kids. That's why you do that, right? Or It's because of the way you value yourself. But if you do want the best for your kids, well, then what's the best way to set your kids up for success when it comes to healthy body, mind, life? You lead by example, right? So we can reframe that as well. Anyways, back to the program. So what's the point mindset and thoughts come in? So how do we, what does this create in our lives? Well, we don't get any results, right? Or we get very slacked results when it comes to our goals. And then next thing you know, we feel stuck. And then it comes up in our mind of, gosh, see, I'm just not worthy. I'm not good enough. I can't lose weight. Everybody else can lose weight, it seems. This person lost weight, even though most people usually stay stuck. But this person lost weight. This person lost weight. Why can't I, right? Why am I not good enough? I just can't do this. Okay. And let's go through the process. So if you, to learn how the process works with our beliefs, how they kind of form and create a reality, there's other trainings in my YouTube that you can go through to watch this. And David Bayer is also extremely good at explaining it too. So belief. So your core belief, okay, core belief or core fear is producing. So let's say that core belief or that core fear is I don't deserve success. Okay. So then your beliefs are producing the constant thoughts that you typically have on a daily basis. So your thoughts might be, what's the point of keep going? I'm not good enough. It's all these constant thoughts popping in, right? And then a thought held for 7 seconds. We often forget that we're the observer and we are not our thoughts. We often get caught up in that story. So then we essentially have a feeling or an emotion from this. So we feel sad, depressed, stuck, low self-esteem, all from these non-empowering thoughts that are coming from this core limiting belief. And then how do you think we're going to act and show up in our world if we're always feeling this way? Well, we're going to eventually procrastinate. We're going to put it off. We're going to quit, right? We're going to put others before ourselves and our needs on the back burner because we don't deserve success. So why does it matter, right? Why put that workout in? We don't deserve success anyways. And then what's the results in our lives? Even though we want to change, right? It's like, I don't want to be this way. I want to change. I want to lose this weight. I just don't feel like I deserve this. I don't deserve success. I'm just not good enough. Well, that is going to keep coming true in our lives. We're not going to change. We're going to keep reproducing that same core belief because that is what is safe, right? So when you repeat this process, the brain is like smiling. It's like, yes, I don't need to change. I don't need to step into the unknown. I can stay the same, right? But if we can change the core limiting belief to instead of I don't deserve this, I'm not worthy, to I am worthy, I do deserve this, watch how this is going to reproduce in your life. I am worthy, I deserve this. That's going to pop up as a thought of I am good enough to figure this out. I can do this. That's empowering, right? It's expansive feeling. So the emotion that you're going to consistently feel now, instead of feeling, sad, defeated, and impressed and stuck, you're going to be feeling motivated. You're going to be feeling determined. Just by this, remember, just by this one core shift. Okay. So let's say nothing else changed in your life yet. You just changed that limiting belief. So now you're thinking this way. Now you're feeling more motivated. You're feeling more determined. You're thinking outside the box. Now you're acting different because when you feel motivated, you're going to show up differently in your life rather than if you're feeling depressed. Right. So now you're going to the gym consistently. You're working on yourself and it feels good. And then what happens is you start to make progress. And that then reinforces that same old belief system. So example number 2. Let's go through another example here. Another very common one is perfectionism. And this is a fear. This is typically a fear. Okay. Perfectionism is a symptom of fear of failure. Okay. So trying to be perfect is actually coming from the rooted fear of failure. Typically. So if I can't be perfect, why try? Right? So let's walk through a scenario. Let's say we eat a cookie one day, which there's nothing wrong with eating a cookie. We can always work around it, balance it out. It depends on the rules and game plan you got set up. But let's say you have a cookie. But if we are trying to be perfect, right? Then we're going to feel guilty about it. Why did I eat that cookie? What's wrong with me? Why can't I control myself? And then we give up on that entire day. Even though it was one cookie for lunch that we had that we just gave into, we slipped up one time, we end up saying, you know what, the day's done. I might as well go get some fast food on the way home. Then we wake up the next day, we check our weight, it gone up 2 pounds. And it's like, you know what? What's the point? What's the point? I'll just get back on track next week. And then this keeps reproducing in our lives and we forget the power of consistency. right? But let's say the other empowering way is I already am good enough and progress equals perfection. Okay. This journey is not about being perfect. There's no real end destination. It's about just me feeling better and better and better. It's about progress over perfection. Okay. Well, now I have specific focuses and goals. So now I'm really consciously tuned in. And I noticed that I did slip up. Maybe I even had that cookie, but I don't care because I'm focused on progress. I didn't have two cookies. I only have one cookie. I feel so much better. Awesome. Awesome. I'm going to keep on track this week. And then you know what our scale is going to look like then? Is our calendar of consistency is then going to start looking a whole lot better with a lot less red X's. You know, maybe we'll get the odd one here, but it won't matter. And over time, who do you think is going to get better results? Person number one or person number two, right? Person number two. And that's simply just by changing that core belief, getting into alignment with how we actually want to be. Just so beautiful. So how do we break the cycle then? Number one is that you want to find your pattern. Okay, you got to find your pattern. You can't change unless you know what to change, right? So we want to be clear on what is the pattern. So how we do this is just reflect. Reflect on the last times that you did try to lose weight and gain it back, the last month. Just try to find a specific pattern, right? Losing, gaining weight back. That's a pattern. Now, number two is then we want to get clear on the limiting belief or the fear. So this is how we do it, is we ask the question, what must I believe to be true in order to act, think, or feel like this? So let's say if you're acting as in you're putting off your goals and you feel guilty about it, what would I have to believe to be true about myself in order to be feeling this way, in order to be acting this way in this pattern? Oh, well, I must believe that I'm just not worth it. Boom. That's the core belief. Okay. Mind you, sometimes there's a deeper rooted belief or fear underlying. That's what I help my clients with because sometimes you might find a little bit of it, but you notice that if it doesn't go away, and remember this, is that any habit that once we consciously catch it, once we catch it, if we keep repeating that, so any habit that we have, once we consciously figure out that it's a habit, it's no longer a habit. Now it's a decision. We're acting upon that still. We're deciding to keep acting that way. So then we get to find, okay, well, what must I believe to be true about myself to still act this way, even though it doesn't serve me, even though it's not aligned with my goals? Then you'll find the limiting belief or the fear that's underlying that's causing you to keep repeating that cycle. Okay, because think of it, it's not aligned with where you want to go, but we keep doing it. So why? So that helps us unreveal that. So ask the question, what must I believe to be true in order to act, think, feel this way, whatever's going on? They don't pop up. Well, I'm just not worthy. I'm just not good enough. Okay, well, now we can release that and we can replace rewire. Why can we release it? Because it's not universally true. What truth is that grounded into? That you're not worthy enough. Does everybody in the world agree upon that? Is that universally true? Did God say that you're not good enough? Did everyone in the room when you were born say you're not good enough? No. So it's not universally true, which means somewhere's down your lifeline that was programmed or put into you. But let's let go of that. Let's release it because it's not aligned with you. It's not even universally true. Right? So we realize that now we can replace it. What's universally true? Usually the opposite. You already are good enough. You are who you are, and that is already good enough. Boom. That's expansive. That feels like flow. That feels right. Right? So we release the old one, and then we rewire. So that's number three. And then number four is now we do it consciously in our lives. So we catch the patterns that no longer serve us. We release them and we place them through our actions and our patterns. So we create new ones that align with that new empowering belief, right? So if you are feeling good about this training, if this is really, really hitting home, because there's so much more that we could dive deeper into, like how do we catch and release? How do we actually replace? How do we do this stuff? If that is something that you are interested into and you're ready to break free from your weight loss once and for all and actually make a serious lifelong transformation with your health, your body, your mindset, your energy, I would love to invite you into the Stage family. Okay. So if you'd like to, you can click below. There's a link to watch a training on how my program, my coaching, everything works. And if it's aligned, you message me on my social media. I'll send you the document with all the details on how to get started and we can go from there. But I hope this training helped you out, guys. If it did, make sure you subscribe, like, leave a comment on what you enjoyed most, and I'll see you guys on the next training.